Hi, I'm Robert Carranza. We're here at the Solar Powered Plastic Plant Studio that me and Jack Johnson own together. And you're watching Burl TV.
Burl Audio.
I am a snob when it comes to a lot of things. And one of the biggest things I'm a snob is my final output stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've had a couple of other, A to Ds.
Mm-hmm.
Couple, quite a
Mm-hmm.
few. And when I got the B2, that was it. That's the one I've been looking for.
Right on.
Especially the transformer. That's that little extra edge that like I can mix into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And not a lot of people know what that is to do that
Yeah.
or how to do that correctly. And yeah, I was the minute I started pushing into it and started hearing, I was like, okay. It changed my way of mixing. Yeah. Because that was the thing when I was mixing Asha. When I called to advance myself, I was like, what do you guys have? And then when they said they had those, I was like, okay, I didn't have to bring mine. You know, and that part of it is, and I don't know if you noticed, but I don't have it racked because it gets pulled out all the time.
So it's an important piece for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important piece for my final output where I'm definitely gonna go like, okay, I want to listen through this because it actually affects the way I'm making my decisions. Now, granted, if I didn't have it, I would still do it a different way, but I do have it, so I use it because I trust what I'm hearing. No one's gonna go, whoa, let me hear that kick drum by itself,
Yeah.
and like, wow, that's a great kick. No, doesn't matter. It's the final two bus, and I start with that. It can be hard because I've actually was working at a studio that didn't have one, and was kind of sitting there and I won't say where I was because it's a great studio, but they didn't have one, and I was listening and it's like, okay, it didn't sound together to me. It really didn't. And I was working with this producer, and he was like, wow, it sounds good. I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. He was like, well, why isn't? What's wrong with it? I'm like, no, it's fine, but let me get it to my place, and I'm gonna get it. And he was like, well, it sounds. It's because I'm pretty happy with the way it sounds. I'm like, oh, trust me. And so we were at the studio. We were done for the day. We came here, and I just kind of brought the stuff up and then brought it through the burl, and played it back, and he instantly heard the difference, and he was like, "Whoa, what did you do?" I go, "I didn't do anything, other than run it through that. It just tightened everything up, and it's almost. I know people might not even think of it this way, but it almost does its own compression, without really doing compression, I guess. How you hit it changes the attack. How much you back off on it changes the attack. There's obviously no kind of sonic release, but there's a push and pull there that I can hear. How you drive the back end of the console into this, into the trammer. I mean, sometimes I push it more so I can hit this harder.
Mm-hmm.
And even though this is analog circuitry, this is tightening it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's letting me hear more of what happening in the front end.
Mm-hmm.
And again, some people, I can see how some people might be like Transformers or, no, purist. I'm a purist too, by all means, but I go for what sounds good. I don't care if it's fucking, hanging from a ledge and fucking going like this, with the microphone. If that sounds better than just putting the mic there, that's what it is. So, I kind of, as much as like I love pure things, it's not what it takes to get to happen. I have this thing of like everyone talks about like digital analog, and I'm like that argument's long done. You know, it's not even worth my time anymore. And I go, well, you know, the biggest analogy here is like if you take a picture of the Grand Canyon with the 110 picture, and you take a digital copy of the Grand Canyon, you're standing on the ledge of the Grand Canyon, you know, I go, they both are representations of what that is. But what I'm trying to accomplish is standing on the ledge of the Grand Canyon in real time. That's the shit you're like, whoa. You know, a picture can't capture that, you know? So I'm always looking for that thing that's getting me to closer to that feeling.
Of basically being in the room with that sound.
And that's what this does.
Yeah.
You know, it gives me that feeling of like, you know, I always hear things and I just hear it every step of the way start collapsing. You know, so anything that can keep me this little, brighter and wider, you know, I use those tools to do that because it's you're already giving up so much, you know, and that part of it is frustrating. Believe me, it's super frustrating. And every inch I can get that's better than that, I'll do. I don't know. I kind of simplified my setup. You know, trying to simplify. You know, and it's one of those things where, you know, that's one of the things I can't live without now. You know, which is good and bad. You know, because it does. It draws you into a vortex a little bit because you start depending on it. You know, and that's, you know, good and bad. When you really know what you're listening for, when you hear it and find it, you're done. You know, and that was the thing with that, because I've had a couple of shootouts with converters, man, and they never lived up to what I wanted them to do. You know, and the transformer in there, that's the shit to me. That, you know, that was the one thing that was kind of like, that made a whole difference. How you hit it, again, how you're hitting it, how those things are combining together, how it's handling the crest of the peak, you know, and finding that right spot where you're like, okay, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like, you know, I actually use this dangerous here is what feeds the Burl. And this output knob, so basically the stereo bus hits the input here, and then from here, depending on how much I want to hit the transformer, this is my final stage before I hit this guy. So there's times I'm like, okay, boom, boom, find that sweet spot. I'm like, bam, that's it right there. And that's, I love Dangerous. They make a great thing, and I love this box, you know. But this is really what this is for in the chain. It's to really allow me to go like, you know, I can have this at minus 18, minus 16, or 14, or minus 12, depending on what I'm doing. But this is what you know, ultimately I'm just going like, okay, I keep pushing it, I hear what it's doing, and then I go, okay, that's a sweet spot. You know, for certain music, you don't do anything. For certain songs, you give a few more dB just to hit that transformer and find that sweet spot on it, and then you're like, you're done. There's a lot of people who make great gear, and, you know, I applaud them all. You know, I mean, to me, they're just tools to get across what I need to get across, but I'm kind of a snob now when it comes to the front end of what I get into. So I'm waiting for that mothership.
Burl Audio.